Welcome back. Welcome back. RMAC Weekly. We're here. We're live. Huge week of football. Man, what a weekend. We had a top 10 matchup in the country. The preemptive matchup of the weekend last weekend was here in the RMAC. It was up in Gunnison, and we're just gonna jump right into the highlights because this was a banger of a game. Western gets it started here. Drew Nash finding his running back out of the backfield. I want to say Damian Neville. He had two tubs today on Saturday. As you can see, Western early, they came out and they punched hard. They'd race out to a 21-0 lead. This is the second touchdown for Neville there. You're going to see this third touchdown, the special teams, kind of reminiscent of 2023. Young Javon blocking that, picking it up, scooping it, getting to the house. That's what we love to see, Big 21. We love to see that. But Pueblo, before half, the guy that leads this pack, Reggie Retzlaff, making the insane catch, coming back for Easton Peterson getting beat. Easton, don't look at the ball anymore. Don't look at the ball when it's in the air. Get on the guy's hip. We got Keon Martinez. He gets in for a score. Fast forward to the third quarter. This is where I was there. This is where I think the game turned. Draper, I'm going to pause it there. What would happen I'm sure on my old teams and your old teams in this kind of situation if a guy did that to our quarterback? What would happen on a team you played on in the past?
The response from the lineman probably would have been bad. You would have seen Elijah, Sean John running over there, getting in the face. I mean, shoot, I would have probably been running off the sideline if somebody hit Gunner like that.
I think my whole team. I think if that happened on our sideline, our whole team might have mosh pitted him. And
Yeah.
I'm not even saying anything against the corner. Like I've been a corner. I've had plays like this before where I've done it on a sideline and had a whole sideline come for my neck. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of thought the response here kind of told it all, and then I think the game flipped. Like you got a lot. You're gonna see a lineman run up in his face, but I don't think the response was enough for watching your quarterback get blasted like that. And then Pueblo, Marcellus Honeycutt, speed kills. Speed kills. There's nothing you can really do about that. Obviously, I think Ramon probably should have some safety help here. Like, I don't understand what the scouting report is. Like, when you're heading into this, you're going to leave him manned up with him. I think this was another big key factor in the game. Quinn Bailey, you're going to see just how elusive and electric he is. He got knocked out a little bit later in the game and didn't finish it. I think that was huge. But once again, Marcellus Honeycutt, where are the safeties at, bro? Where are the safeties at? The DPS product, I'm happy to see that as a DPS guy. And then Reggie Retzlaff. And then Roman Fuller. I really love how he got out of the pocket, escaped the pressure, corner falls there. I thought Reggie scored on this. The ref said he didn't. That makes the way for the Wildcat, Keon Martinez. Got some of the big fellas in there. See number 9, Josiah Sampleton in there getting a block. They punch it in, and Western, I just felt like their throats were tightening in this moment. This is all their last possession of the ball. They waste 2 timeouts. Just having, communication issues. Drew Nash doing all he can. I don't know if he could throw a better pass here. I don't know if he can throw a better pass there. And then you get a block. Pueblo, kind of poetic. You know what happened to them in Fort Hays earlier in the season, losing on a block. For them to get a block in this moment, and then Western didn't have the timeouts. Pueblo actually moves the ball down the field, running it. You're going to see Roman Fuller. He is going to complete a big third down pass. But you see Western kind of broke as the game went on. Bend don't break. I think they kind of broke seeing big runs like that. You haven't seen that all year. And then the big pass, bang bang play. The Western guys think he didn't catch that, but DTA comes down with it, and Jackson Smith is money, and down goes number 5 to number 7, or I think they were 8 at the time. 8 beats 5 in dramatic fashion, comes back from down 21-0. Man, what a game. What were you thinking watching this? Did you think it was over at halftime?
I will say, I was in the middle of work. I work Saturdays, but I was watching a little bit of the first half, and right when I got to halftime, I was like, man, this is the tale of two stories. Western this whole year has outscored their opponents like 140 something points to like 21. And so when they were up going into half, I was like, oh, this might be wraps. But Pueblo did the Pueblo way. They fought back in every way, and they came out with the victory. And something that I want to say about last week, I do believe both of us called there was going to be a special teams touchdown. And there was a special teams touchdown. There's the block. I mean, we saw this coming, coming forth. For Western, when Drew gets taken out of that possession, he's out for like four. I want to say three
or four plays, yeah.
And that shut that play down. That shut that whole drive down. Like when he got hurt, it shut it down. And they were driving enough to where I thought if they scored, it would have put the game out of hand. But then they have to punt, and then things got back into it. And Pueblo, you got to give hats off to Pueblo, right? Like you've been in the games where you've played close and you've just found a way to win. This is the first time Western's played a game where they've had an opponent still with them going into the second half, like truly with them in the second half. And you didn't see him putting up points. So that's just a test of the pack and really the defense. Give a shout out to Coach Foskey out there. His scouting was amazing. The way he just was able to come out and readjust in the second half. And you see it 24-21. Big win by the pack. And, for Western, your dreams are not up. You still have a chance of one. If Pueblo loses one of the next two games, you're tied, and then they still got to play. Both teams play Shattern here, so there's a chance for you still get a ring. But right now for Western, it starts playoff season, like true playoff season. Like you're right on the bubble now of not being a 2 or a 3. You're now looking at being a 6, 7, and maybe being the 8th, being that first one out. Pueblo might have put themselves where, yeah, we're going to be 3, 4, and if we lose, we might be at 7. So they've got a little bit of a leeway going ahead. Defensively on both sides, man, you just got to say Caden Rulo, way to play for the DBs. I mean, he was all over the field. It doesn't show it statistically, but he showed up. And then for the defense, man, for just in total for the Western, man, they were pushing so much pressure on Fuller in the first half that made him uncomfortable, similar to Capra, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, to where I thought, man, like this is going to be wraps. Like this is fully wraps. And then, Fuller just stepped up and was like, nope, I'm here, and showed that, Drew Nash might be the president, but I'm the dictator.
Here's my question, because I don't think I can just let Western off the hook that easily. Did they lose? Did they give this game away? Like, the number 5 team in the country, you're up 21-0. Like, man, what are we doing in the second half? Like, where are the adjustments? Like, it's almost the exact opposite. Like, it's crazy how eerily similar that was to the week before versus Mines. Mines kind of jumped out on Western, but Western went into the locker room, made some adjustments, blitzed them in the second half. I wouldn't even say Pueblo blitz Western. They like walked them down, like slowly in the alley. Was like, yeah, we're coming to get you. And it's almost like I don't know. I was there. I was in the stadium. It just, I don't know. From that big hit on Drew, and he was just out for a couple plays. It was like almost everybody's throat got tight in the whole stadium. And Pueblo capitalized. They smelled blood in the water. And they capitalized, and big shout out to them and their coaching staff. Like you said, those the adjustments on the defensive end, Drew and the boys, like the first couple of drives, how open some of the receivers were. Like Ramon Reed, he didn't end up catching it, but like how open he was on a seam play early in the game, I remember very vividly. The way they locked up in the second half, they showed a lot of grit and a lot of toughness, and I think they deserve a lot of credit. I remember I got after them pretty hard after the Hayes game and questioned their toughness, but I think they've proven it. Like if this was the game to show it, they definitely did. And big credit to the offensive line. Like you said, they were getting pressure on Roman in the first half, but in the second half, I mean, he started chopping, and this is going to be a problem for Western moving forward. Every game that they've lost for the past couple years, it's kind of been the same story. Like the DBs got to pick it up. Like especially as we gear up towards the playoffs. Like if I see it watching it at home or even being at the games and whatnot, you best believe coaches around the region and whatnot are seeing it too. So I think it's something that Western's going to have to get fixed and fixed ASAP. Because next week they got another big game, and let's transition to our next game of the week. We'll actually be going all the way out to Rapid City, where the Hard Rockers, South Dakota Mines, was taking on Chadron State, who's now ranked Chadron State after they get a win this week. But Aiden Thompson and the boys, they get it done again. He finds Garrett Slab with a beautiful pass over two guys in coverage, right down the middle. And then the Chadron defense, tips and overthrows. We don't have video of it, but the guy that I predicted was going to be player of the week weeks ago ended up having a pick six in this game. But Chadron, the play calling, getting guys open, like nobody was even in the vicinity there. And then we get the offensive lineman Selly here at the end. You got to love that for the big guys. But Chadron, they get it done. The game was pretty competitive in the first half, so credit to the Hard Rockers. But Chadron just kind of does what they do. They just grind you away, and before you know it, they got 30 points, and you don't have very many. Did you get a chance to check out any of this one?
I did, and I want to say last week I said this was a big rivalry and did not know the name. It is called the Eagle Rock. The Eagle Rock's it's a big trophy for them, and I knew it was a trophy game, and I just couldn't remember. However, something that's bothering me real quick. Is this a typo up there in the box? How do you get 1 point in football?
On the box score? Hey.
I don't know either. Somebody got a free throw somewhere. But no,
this was the official box score on the website. People feel free to go check it out. It's
weird to look at. No, I did watch a little bit of it just because I wanted to watch Aiden Thompson at quarterback, and the first half I got to watch. Chadron they were dominant in all quarters. They really just controlled this, and in the first quarter, yeah, you're like, okay, this is going to be a good game. But Chadron came out and they forced the havoc that they've been. They got the turnovers. They got a couple sacks. They got the pressure on Gage Baker. It's somebody who's not necessarily, got experience.
He's not experienced yet.
Yeah, he's getting it right now. He's getting
experience this weekend.
Very much. I could see here in a few years, Gage Baker's going to have that trophy. That's great. But Chadron's showing that, they deserve to be ranked. And I just to hint out this next week's they might be coming up to play. This is a team that they're firing on all cylinders at the right time. We talked about last week. They're in playoff mode right now. They've got to finish off with two top dogs going out the rest of their year. And this is kind of that tune-up game you kind of need. It shows you all the routes and it shows you all the ways that they got to get there. But a name that we talk about week in and week out, Tommy Thomas, man, just shows up, dude. He just shows up and does his thing.
Mr. Consistency.
He's just great. And then who I believe is going to be the defensive player of the year with Logan O'Brien. He's just, again, what is that, his second pick now?
That's the second pick six.
Man, that's more pick sixes than I had in my full career, and I was a safety. So, we might as well just give it to this guy now. With South Dakota, though, they had their offense was rolling here and there. Defense getting rolled over here and there. So it wasn't, Chadron just had their number and they had it right. And so big win for Chadron going into this next week.
I think this is what you expect out of a team that had been receiving votes for weeks, playing a team that's kind of clearly in like rebuilding mode right now. But credit to the Eagles for handling business. They got a big one coming up. It's going to be on their home field, but they got a really big one coming up. But moving along, our next game we'll take a look at is Mines and New Mexico Highlands, and my boy Jeffrey Jones gets stripped. Devin Lauer Duarte comes up with a big strip, and Mines comes up with it, but Highlands gets the stop on fourth down. And they're actually they strike first. You know who it is? My guy, Jeffrey Jones, does it all. Catches the touchdown in the back of the end zone with the toe tap. And then it really looked like Highlands was ready to, play for real. Trevor Romaldo with his 5th pick. That's leading the conference. That's something you guys should be thinking about. He's leading the conference in picks. But Mines, they really get on track when they just start handing the ball to Max Barnes. That's just the way to go. He's the engine that makes this train go right now. And you see him just chugging. Big boy, big. He really reminds me of the old guys we used to play against. And then the defense getting after it. Jackson Lewis. Fun fact: he has a twin brother that plays at Harding. That's pretty cool. And then Capper starts really doing his thing. Finds Blake Smotherman here. Smotherman avoids a tackle. Wait till you guys see his celly. He's going to score again later in this game. Jeffrey Jones. This is what like a 8-yard gain, but you see how many people he made miss and just how hard he is to tackle. He didn't have any big runs. That was Max's thing for the day. Big run after big run after big run. And then you're going to see another one from Max, but you're going to see some of the young talent for Mines starting to get involved. Some of these young receivers and whatnot getting more opportunities and making the most of it. Coming up with a big catch here. He's going to get a touchdown on this same drive. And then you're going to see another Smotherman score right before the end. That's what happens when you run the ball really well. You see how the whole defense was all tied in on that play action? When you can run the ball, you can set up all of this fun stuff. And he got stripped there, but he was clearly broke the plane. But you gotta love Smotherman, and he always has the really, really sick celebrations. Love to see it. But Highlands, I called this one. I knew that Highlands they were riding high, but I didn't think they'd be able to go into Golden and get a win, and they weren't able to. What would you think though? With like they did punch first. That was impressive to see. What'd you think, Draper?
Like they've been all year with Highlands, their struggle is really in the secondary, and it showed really bad in this game that they literally were everywhere. And even when the safeties have to come in the tackle, I don't know about you, but I was never somebody that wanted to jump at your shins. I wanted to catch right at your hips, grab you between your knee, and just drive through you. That was a lot of their problem, man. Like missed tackles because they're diving straight at the ground. Nobody's seeing what they're hitting. They're not seeing their coverage on the wheel for a touchdown. I think the guy was covering the referee. He wasn't even covering the freaking running back. I mean, I don't know where he went off, but it was no man's land. And that was just all game. And that's just been the story of Highlands. Their offense can only be as effective as when the defense gets them the ball back as much as they can. And it's hard for Highlands to play from behind. We've seen it in the all throughout the season that when they've had the lead, they coast throughout it. But when they're trying to fight for a lead or even try to fight to catch up, it doesn't ever end up good for them. So
I think one of their problems in this game was like they got away from they didn't try to run the ball down Wine's throat, and I'm like, but like no, don't get me wrong. I think Colin Stuckey's a baller. I mean, he completed 72% of his passes, no turnovers. Like he played well, especially in that environment for his first time. But like you got Jeffrey Jones, you got Tavita Valetti, like run the damn ball. The damn ball.
I mean, that's where it was.
And they usually do. I think they got away from that this game. I think they try to switch it up and hit Mines in a different way. And I'm like, I don't know why. Like, other teams have been able to run the ball against Mines this year. Why not? You got one of the most electric dudes in all of the country back here. Run the damn ball.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Like we've seen Mines get burnt on the run many times throughout the year, and you go away from it. You go actually to Mines' strongest point. You start throwing the ball, and it's not going to get you yards. Yeah, it'll get you a few yards here and there, but it's not get the first downs to move the ball forward and actually continue those drives. For Colorado Mines, man, this is that bounce back that they needed. Capra looked like he was actually, safe back there. Like he was very comfortable. Max Barnes
there was one play Capra had where it was like the line blocked for him for like 9-10 seconds. I was like, damn, okay, Mines O line, I see you.
And you know how hard that is as a DB, man. We don't want to be covering for more than 4 seconds. I just want the ball to come out so I can go either hit the guy or catch the ball. That's 2 things I want, right? I don't want to be chasing and playing tag back here. But I mean, when we go back to Mines, man, like Joseph Capra played great. Max Barnes, kind of like how you said, dude, he really reminds me of like Zeman and what's the other guy? I completely forgot his name.
I'm losing his name right now too. We're getting old, bro.
We're super old. CT
Cameron Mayberry.
Mayberry.
Cameron Mayberry.
I mean, like he really does. He's a big stocky back like that. It only makes me think like, what if we had Max Barnes, Tate, and
the whole season,
Landon Walker? You know, like
all
season. 3 of them. Like, what are we looking at? If the offensive line's playing like how they are now, beginning of the year, all the way throughout, where are we sitting at? You know, defense, they're able to do their things that we kind of expect Colorado School of Mines to do. They're able to get their sacks.
They were getting after the quarterback this week.
They did their job, and that's why the score was so big and such a kind of a blowout in the second half. Again, we're not used to seeing Highlands come out after half and be able to fight and put up a true fight. Every time it's going into half, they're behind. It usually just goes off from there. Or if they're in a big lead, they let off the gas, let the other guys play, and other teams catch up to them, right? I called the upset, but I'm just kind of upset anyways. That's just how it is. Man, that sounded like Drake right there. But, yeah, good win for Mines. They got a couple big games coming up, especially a big rivalry game this weekend.
Rivalry game this weekend, and we'll dive more into that. But, you know, this wasn't a rivalry game, but the boys, Colorado Mesa, the Mavericks, went up to Spearfish, and man, that's pretty. Man, that's pretty. You know, the play action fake over the top. And then not to be outdone, Luke Doobie and arguably the nation's best receiver, TJ Chukwara. Look at this camera work, and look at that. You see the toe tap? You see the toe tap? Like, Mr. Chukwara, you are indeed him, sir. Yes, you are, sir. But so is this guy, Brandon Belgrave, showing off the speed here. You know, he's usually a guy that's breaking a bunch of tackles, just rumbling and bumbling, but showing off the jets right there. But Black Hills, like they're gonna battle. It seems like they're back to that early season mode where it's like, hey, we're not giving up, and it's gonna be a fight to the end. Chuck Ward with another one. You got Kelby Olsen. I didn't see it, but I know he hit the safety. Did you see him on his stick? Like, I saw his shoulder turn right in the corner of the screen there. I know he hit him off, but you know, Black Hills fought, but it wasn't enough. Mace prevails. Aiden Taylor, you know, just throwing a little stiff arm here, being a little mean, physical, violent. What you love to see from the Mavs, but the Mavs get the win. High scoring affair. This had to be a fun one to be at if you were a fan and you got to be there in person. You got to see a lot of touchdowns. But Cole Hanson gets the start again, back in the starting lineup for Mesa, and what I would argue is the best through the air performance of the season for the Mavericks.
I want to say it's been the best performance of the quarterback since Carson Hunter was quarterback. Honestly,
it might.
I mean, like, I'm not even joking like that. That's stats when I was even up there that we didn't even have from a quarterback, and that's not another shot at Gavin, but like, you know, Cole just out there and he controlled it, and it's just you kind of again you wonder what would the season be like if Cole had the reins from the beginning and just kind of took control of it. The smoothness of the offense being what they are now. Defense is, you know. Weirdly enough, defense giving up more points than they have or what they average. And, you know, I know that since the Washington game.
I expected that, though. You know, it's changing defensive coordinator, so it's a new defense. And then you did lose some all-stars.
Well, I'm just saying, like, all year, I think they were averaging like 22 points a game before going into this. Like, I mean, Black Hills, that's not the team. They're still the best 1-8 team now. They're the best 1-7 team. Like, everybody can't overlook them. Like, you have a great quarterback, you've got a great receiver, you've got a defense who does their things, and it kind of just shocked you. You know, I was not expecting this to be as high scoring as what it was. But it doesn't shock me enough. You know, it's like it's Mesa and Black Hills, and I know when you go up there to play, you've had a crazy couple games. Truthfully, I've only got to play 1.5 quarters up there, so or one game and a half of the game because I get ejected out of the rest. So Black Hills it's a fun place to play at. I'll tell you that much. The fans are wild. They are ruthless, and you know. When it gets cold, you don't really want to play in Black Hills. The best part is going to Mount Rushmore, like I've said, weekend. George Soapy stepping up, making some big plays for the defense.
You read my mind, Draper. I was just going to bring him up.
Dude, he's a young guy that we're going to be seeing grow, honestly, in the RMAC and start getting these accolades that he deserves here pretty soon. Lane, which is LB to me, he gave up a couple touchdowns, but I mean, truthfully, as a corner, when you're having 9 tackles, that's pretty crazy. You're giving up receptions or you're going in and making the play,
or
right?
you're flying around, one or the other.
That's great to see from LB. And then, man, I gotta give a shout out to Brandon, man, because he came back from a pretty rough injury, and which with all of his splinters and all that going on in his leg, and he's able to take 10 carries for 117, get the 2 tubs up there. I mean, shout out to Brandon Belgrave for coming back, being a battle. I believe it's his senior year, so of course he wants to play and leave a mark on this program. Jumping over Black Hills, man, Luke Doobie. He looked comfortable, kind of like how you said, he looked comfortable to the beginning of the year. And then before we started messing with who's starting here and who's playing here. And again, we think he was a little beat up. That's why he got taken out a few of those games. But he looked healthy. He looked confident, and his passes looked like that. TJ Chukwuwara, he's going to be got to be an All-American at this point. There's no way you can't tell me he's not an All-American. I think he's leading by one touchdown or 2 touchdowns.
If they had 2 more wins, is he the offensive player of the year?
Yeah.
In the conference?
I could see it. I mean, I still think it's going to be thrown up there with one of the Pueblo guys, Western guys.
Chad won it our senior year at Adams State.
Yeah. I mean, he was also a stud, though. Chad was a stud receiver. I hated playing against Chad.
TJ's a stud receiver, bro.
I feel you. And I mean, if TJ can put up to the end of the year, I mean, there's no way these coaches don't vote him as something, and then all 10 teams or all 9 teams have voted him as, to be first team. Maybe give him the offensive player of the year. He deserves it. There's no way you don't say he doesn't deserve it. He's scored on every.
You really can't say he doesn't deserve it. Yeah, there's nobody. I'm not hearing that he doesn't deserve it because he's done it every single week.
Yep. Great game overall, though. Like we said, I heard the buses got there and got back from Mesa, so that's great to hear on the long travels. A lot of the guys got their ice cream that we talked about, and big win for Mesa.
Heck yeah. Well, our last and final game, I didn't end up having any video for this one. Adams doesn't look like they're gonna get that elusive win. Looks like it's gonna be the last one. I think this is their last opportunity to get one. They're not gonna get one. I don't think they get one this year. But I mean, they came out and battled. I think they came out and punched early. I want to say they scored the first touchdown to get things started, but Fort Lewis just grinding them away. That defense, kind of took hold and started getting after Gavin. Of course, our guy Jacob Penny, another double-digit tackle game, a sack. Of course, he's living in the backfield. And yeah, I'm really starting to become a real big fan of KB Brodus. I think he deserves. I think 12 carries isn't enough. He's a big, strong, physical back that has like some deceptive speed to him. I think, hey, feed the bell cow. I think the more they do that, I think the more successful Fort Lewis can be moving forward. He's only a sophomore, so a lot of tread on those tires that he still has left. But the Skyhawks get it done. No touchdown passes for Morris, but also no turnovers. So I'm not mad at it. Your boy Gavin, he has the one pick, but Gavin, he's just a competitor. He's a football player. He plays quarterback, but respectfully, Gavin, if you're watching, Gavin's not a quarterback to me. Gavin's a football player that just happens to play quarterback.
Yeah.
So, he's always going to have, some ups and downs, a little bit of a roller coaster. But yeah, I didn't. This is what I expected. I expected Fort Lewis to win. I didn't think Adams was going to be able to get Fort Lewis. So, what do you think, Draper?
You said to start out with that this was Adams' last shot. They do have South Dakota Mines, so I mean they still have a shot in there, and it's any given Saturday type of thing. They could come up and surprise us. I mean, what was it, Wichita Baptist?
Prove me wrong. Pueblo proved me wrong, and they had so much fun running by me, pointing at me and stuff. Prove me wrong, then.
Yeah,
and you can have your fun and talk trash, but I don't think so. I think SD Mines after they got that win against Fort Lewis in the fashion, the comeback and that big drive right at the end, they stole that one. I think if they played again, like I think they get Fort Lewis again.
I kind of like what Dykstra just said right here. If Drew is president, then Penny must be the Secretary of Defense because, I mean, dude, he is all over the place. I mean, another week for Jacob to where we just know the dude's going to show up. It's kind of like how we speak on Tommy with Shadron. I mean, just Mr. Consistent. He's going to be there. He's going to make all the plays. He's going to be in your backfield, and he's not going to be the friendliest person to you.
JD, I've been arguing with Witt about the merits of my guy Jacob Penny. I'd love it if you're on my side of the fence and you could tell him too. He's really that dude.
With Adams' offense, man, I think they put up enough to where they should be in closer games, but that defense doesn't really give them a chance, and that's what's trying to kind of the struggle. I mean, you go out. We can dog on Gavin, mess with Gavin as much as he is, but Gavin's only playing one position. Really plays a few on offense. A few times he's even blocking out there. I will say, Gavin, I think this is your season high at 158 yards. So proud of you there. And the one pick, I'm sure you thought he was your teammate again. But that's okay. I'm happy to see that again. He's another senior he's a senior getting out and having fun playing the last year after coming back from an injury, coming through the rest of what he's done. So I'm happy for Gavin. I'm happy for kind of the bumps that they're taking, but you've seen them scoring here. That's kind of the biggest thing for Adams. They haven't been scoring. Now they're able to put some points up, get a little bit of confidence in that system that they're building. You get the right guys in that your coaches are wanting. You're going to build a foundation, and you're going to be able to take off from there. Right now, you got to take those bumps. You got to take all the bumps that come to you. Like kind of how we said with Fort Lewis the last couple of years, Western when we were playing, Black Hills when we were playing. Black Hills is back to that. I don't know how that happened, but
Nace is back to that.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. They're the best 1-8 team though. But
let's highlight some of the positives though for the Grizzlies. Like as much as we prop up Jacob Penny and deservedly so, Mafaleo Tupoy, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or wrong, but I mean, if you go look at those tackles, I want to say he's top 5 in the conference. He's playing on a defense. I've been in a game where we've given up 50 points, 60 points. Like we had a couple rough outings a couple times while I was playing, and it's tough. But those guys that week in and week out are getting 9, 10 tackles, like they deserve credit nonetheless. Like just because they're not having team success shouldn't take away from like, especially a position like linebacker, like just staying healthy for 11 games when you run into people every play. It's very impressive. So I think, his name, he pops up on these box scores every week. So, it's a really rough season for the Grizzlies, but there's some positives here and there. But moving along, let's highlight some of these big name players. We got a couple guys that have been living on these lists. Logan O'Brien, I want to say this is his 4th time. I know Jackson Smith, this is at least his 2nd, if not 3rd. Max Barnes, is this Max's 1st? Did Max get it a couple weeks ago?
He might have had it one more time against
his very first game. It was versus Adams.
Adams
for over 200, but I don't know if he got it that week or not.
I don't know either, but I mean, he's a player that's probably going to be having this a lot here soon. I mean, the biggest name is right in the middle. That has got to be the defense player of the year. I mean, there's no way we can't say Logan O'Brien's not the defense player of the year. The way he creates havoc, his name just pops in every week. It's not the player that we really had coming into the season. At least I didn't have being that defensive player of the year. Special teams wise, that could be anybody for player of the year. It could be a returner to a kicker, but for Jackson Smith to nail the winner, and then honestly, he's really changed that whole operation for the special teams.
Ever since that Hayes game, and then he got inserted as the full-time kicker, and it's like they're confident at the end of games. They're like, yeah, if we just get it in range, we're gonna hit.
Yep.
But I think Logan O'Brien, I think he's in pole position for the defensive player of the year, but I don't think it's necessarily locked up yet. Like I've been saying it since like, I don't know, maybe like week 3 after he had that first pick 6 against Black Hills. I kind of was like, oh, he's really balling, and then he went off versus Mines. But I will say Bryson Torrey, like list Logan O'Brien, 2nd pick 6. Bryson Torrey, I want to say he scored 3 touchdowns. but there's still games to be played, and this is where Logan can really seal it up. He gets to play the president this week. Last week, and Torrey played the president. He led them in tackles for Pueblo. He didn't have any turnovers, but he led them in tackles. What does Logan O'Brien do in this game and in that big game next week? I think, or the following week against Pueblo. I think that's gonna, they're gonna be going head to head. We're gonna see, like, do one of those two make the play to decide that game? Who knows? But I think Logan O'Brien, he really is I think he's in pole position. You got to be, man. 4 defensive player of the weeks. I got 1 in my career. Did you ever get one?
I had 2. I had the.
Oh my god!
I don't actually think I
just have more rings than me. You got more player of the weeks, more picks. Dang, Draper.
I went to
beat
Pueblo.
You at something, bro?
I went to Pueblo. That's what I'm gonna say, man. You went to Mesa. Here's what you have better than me. You had like 22,000 students. I had 1,000. I don't even think we had 1,000. But
that might have been our problem. But I digress. Let's look at the top 25 here. Obviously, the big thing. Pueblo, they only jump up 1 spot. Western stays in the top 10. The pollsters, even though Western kind of played a soft schedule, their first like real tough test, they end up losing it, and in my opinion, giving it away after beating up 21. But they end up losing that one, but they still stay in the top 10. Like, would you still have Western in your top 10? And Chadron, don't think I don't see you at 22. Just obviously, we're gonna go in the order.
Yeah, I would definitely keep Western in the top 10 just because it's a top 10 matchup. You lost by 3. And if you're to say Pueblo's not to be in the top 10, if Western's not to deserve the top 10, then we've got Pueblo misranked too, just because of where it was. But I think kind of how the rankings are, they're on the dot. Central Washington, I'm gonna be the hater. I don't think Central Washington's the 6th best team in the nation. They're gonna play Western Oregon here pretty soon. And that's really going to be determining in our region on some of these standings.
Dykstra doesn't agree. JD doesn't agree.
JD, worry about the MIAA. Don't worry.
Nah, man, playoffs are coming. I understand.
But I just number 6 and number 21 are going to play, and that's going to really be a standpoint there. The team that really surprised me is Northwest Missouri still being at 11. I mean, I think they're going to be a top team. Like, I think Northwest is being back to Northwest. Like, that's the crazy, scary thing to say. Kutztown's still going to be my hated in the top 5, out of the top 5. Shadron, big shout out, man. Y'all made it in there. Keep winning a couple of games. Get your ranking
Probably should have been in a couple weeks ago, but hey, better late than never.
And I know the standings there have them right on the edge or right on the edge of falling out, but they've got two big weeks. Their playoffs, they started last week, so they are going right now.
JD from the top rope. Western, if we get matched up with MIAA school and JD comes out to the game, y'all gotta let him have it, man.
Yeah.
But I digress. Be looking at it. I'm not gonna lie. I did think Western was gonna drop out of the top 10. Like, I probably would have them drop out of the top 10. Not far, honestly. I'd probably just swap them in Northwest Missouri, and I think this list would be bang spot on. And I don't take any pride in saying that. Like, I picked Western to win last week, but I do think, like, losing a 21-point lead on your home field is the number 5 team in the country. Like, there should be some consequences for that. But hey, I'm not mad at it. If they stay in the top 10, that just makes our conference look better. And hopefully we can get all 3 of these guys into the playoffs, because that would just be magical, wouldn't it, Draper?
Yeah, it would be pretty fun. I don't know if that's going to happen, unfortunately, with everybody playing each other. But if it does, then that's going to be great. Unfortunately, when playoffs come, one of the 2 RMAC teams is going to end up playing each other, and that's the terrible thing about where we're at in playoffs. Like, I wish they all went out there and played someone else.
It's crazy if I'm gonna steal a little bit from JD, but I'm pretty sure if all three do get in, yeah, Pueblo and Western will just rematch each other out here, and Pueblo will host. But Saturn's they're gonna go play Northwest Missouri.
Yeah. Based
But
on standings right now, right? And that's what's I don't know.
I feel
Love
bad. I
Shadron.
should have the regional rankings. Like I should have them in this slideshow. Sorry, guys. I apologize, but they are available. I want to say in this latest one, Western was at. Hold up, Draper. Western was 6. It
I
was
think
one
they
that
were
just dropped on Monday.
believe they were 7. Hold on, I got it right now. Don't worry, peoples. I got it. All right, let's see. It's loading, and let's see. We got Harding, Central Washington, Northwest Missouri, Pueblo, Pittsburgh State, Western, Shadron at 7. We only take 7 nowadays, right? Or do we take 8? We take
We
7.
take 8.
Oh,
I
we
want to
take
say we
8.
take 8 now.
So Western Oregon, the biggest thing is Western Oregon being at 8. They play Central Washington. Shadron's still got to play
I got
Pueblo
Central
and
Washington
Western.
in that just for those LSC folks out there. I got Kennedy McGill on the boys. They're gonna handle business.
The thing I believe is not going to change is Harding's going to be that number 1 team. They don't play
Oh yeah.
anybody. They don't play
Oh
anybody
yeah.
tough, and they're in a conference where they can just run it. So they get that 9-0,
I
10-0.
will say though, and this is me in no way predicting that Harding loses, but last year, Washita Baptist beat Harding in their big rivalry game, and Washita Baptist was, I want to say, 3 and undefeated late in the season, and they lost the game to a winless team.
Hey, so shout out to Adams. You got a chance. Oh, sorry. But yeah. But I'm just saying, I don't think Harding changes. Number 2 and number 8 play. Northwest Missouri, they're gonna pretty much. They've got one. I don't know who they've got. They've got a pretty good game coming up. So one of y'all in the chat say who they've got. The next 2 games, they've got one game that's going to be pretty tough. Pittsburgh State. It's just going to be Pittsburgh State. I mean, they've already coasted throughout the rest of their hard schedule. Western, Shadron, Pueblo, all playing within each other. And then UTPB is kind of my dark horse. You know, they're waiting for somebody to lose because they've now gone through the toughness of their schedule to where they just got to win these next 2 and get in. You know, winning they're in is kind of how I see it.
Well, there's a lot of teams that are in playoff mode right now, especially some of our teams. We've got, I didn't update that. That's the wrong schedule here. Forget it. I got the actual matchups right here. Western is the number 9 team in the country. He's heading to number 22. Just now got into the polls. Do we think usually when these teams get in the polls for the first time, it's almost like a curse. Like they usually lose and end up right back out of it. Can Sadgen break the mold, and can they get it done? This is on their home field. They do have a great defense, in my opinion. Like they have what you would think are the ingredients to be able to really give Western problems. Do you think they can?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think Shadron's got a good chance at staking it to Western and going forward in their
Speaking of
playoffs.
Shadgen, shout out to I got one, Mr. Woodhead.
Yes, sir. Shadron's got their chance, but unfortunately, C stands for cursed, and that also stands for Shadron. So they're going to be losing this game. Is kind of what I see. The president does not lose back-to-back weeks. He's going to come back and he's gonna take reins. And he's going to go out there and have 4 or 5 touchdowns. And he's going to go. He's basically, the way I see it, he just got slapped in the face this week. He's going to win a couple of games and he's going to go play Pueblo again and show that it was a fluke. But I unfortunately I think Shadron, this is where the dreams die. You know, they've gotten in finally. They've had great year, but Western just they've got it all put together, and they're going to get this victory. And I'm going to say it's going to be probably a 10-point game, truthfully, within that range. But I think Western bounces back. This is their first loss. It's kind of like the true slap in the face, and how do you react? And here you go.
K-Ferg, El Presidente is not gonna lose. Well, here, let me play devil's advocate. Let me play. I'm rocking the Woodhead. Let me. This isn't my pick, but let me argue in favor of Shadron. They get pressure after the quarterback. Pueblo, as the game went on, started getting after Drew a little bit. I think their defensive line is just as good or arguably better when you factor in O'Brien, Tanner True wreaking havoc from the interior pressure. But then you got what I think is the most underrated secondary in the conference for sure. Like Dax Girardi's a ball hawk. Skurlock, number 6, he's a lockdown corner. 31 is a lockdown corner. Like I don't know, man. I think Shadron, I think their defense isn't far off. I mean, look at these statistics. You gotta think too. Like they played a Division 1 squad that was ranked in this season earlier too. Like they've played the way stiffer competition than Western so far, and look how they fared.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think this is
Aiden Thompson, does he not have that backyard, kind of flair to him? Does he not see? Was that not how he won the mind the game? That wasn't like some pretty game where he threw for 300 yards. That was him just being a football player. Like, I think they have the components and ingredients. I think they're very, very similar to Western. I think their philosophies, I think the coaching staff's got a lot of similarities, the kind of kids they try to recruit. Like, is Drew's the only, like, Drew's the difference.
I think Drew's definitely the difference, but this is going to be the best defense that they've actually seen for Shadron so far in the year, and that's going to be the biggest thing. Yeah, we've seen these guys kind of hit on late. Obviously Aiden Thompson kind of taken over with Mines wasn't like. And it's not to say they're not, but Mines of the past had the stellar defense. Would they have 7 guys a couple of years ago on the all RMAC list, right? They're not the same. Yeah. And so that's why I say this is a true difference. Western is still that one of the top 2 dogs. Their offense is so much better, but their defense is still just as good. That's kind of what shocked me with Western's losses last week is their defense kind of went bye-byes. And it was, I think that's the realization they needed that somebody said it here. They got complacent and, they can't do that. But what's crazy is both these teams are starting playoffs right now. You got to win and you got to keep going forward. Western, I think if you lose this game, we might be looking at Western on a 9-10. I don't think we're telling
their strength of schedule.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Western's getting in with the 2 losses. Shadron, on the other hand, if they have 3 losses, they might get in because their strength of schedule is way different. They actually went out there and they played a D1. And I know we don't look at D1s. I know we don't, but
that's not counted in this. But
yeah, their true strength is like they've played some tough opponents. Even Nebraska Kearney, their loss to. Or those are the only 2 losses. So, I've seen Shadron play tougher. Western, on the other end, they've had a cupcake schedule. That's just the easiest way to say it, and they played the toughest team that they had last week, and they lost by 3, and they blew the lead that we haven't seen Western blow. But this is the week that Western bounces back, kind of similar to how we've seen all these other teams lose and then bounce back. I think it's too much for Shadron to handle. I think it'd be great to see Shadron back in the playoffs, especially, with your Danny Woodhead shirt. I'd have to get me another one or get me one. But Western's, how you said they're similar, Western's still above. They're trying to dictate and be like them, but Western's still that top team to me.
Okay, well here's my actual prediction. I wanted to argue in favor of the Eagles because I do think I think this game can be very similar to last week. The same game that Western had to play where it comes down to who has the ball in the last minute and who gets to attempt the kick. I think this could be the same way. But I tend to agree with you that I think that was the Western call. That was the wake-up call that Western needed, as we get ready to go towards the playoffs. I hope the Western, just staff and players all understand the severity of that loss in that fashion. I would guess that they do. I would guess that I would guess that Monday meeting was not fun for anybody, but I would guess that everybody probably has like a renewed focus and drive to finish this season out and you know, kind of prove now they're gonna have some doubters that they're gonna need to prove wrong. All season we've been riding high on the president and company and kind of felt like they were untouchable. We found out they can be touched, and they found that out too. But I do think they got some real dogs on that team that are going to respond, and I'm just super excited to see the matchup with the two offensive lines. I actually think Shadron has an underrated offensive line, just based on how they played when I saw them play at UNC. I was really impressed just because D1 to D2, in my mind, the real difference is the trenches. The fact that they were able to truly compete with them was impressive to me. So I'm excited to see it. I know there's going to be some fun matchups. I know it's going to be a competitive game with two very similar teams. I'm going to go with Western too. Give me Western, but I don't think they win by more than a touchdown, quite honestly. I think Drew drove down the field and he put his team in a position to win last week. They didn't pull it off, but I think it might kind of be very similar to what happened to Pueblo earlier in the year. Like maybe that's the wake up call Western needed to really lock in and get right. And I'm gonna bet on that being so. So I got Western to win, but I think the Eagles are gonna give them all they can handle. But our next game, another big one, not a ranked matchup, but rivalry game. And Draper, you know how rivalry games are. This is one that you were a part of for 8 years because you're an old man. You just stayed in college forever, but
should have been a doctor.
You've been on both ends. You've been on like Pueblo wins where you guys, beat up on the nerds, and I know you've also been on one where the nerds, torched y'all. So is there any possibility that Mines could do this? Could Mines, could we get a throwback to Mines being dominant and giving the Thunderwolves a run for their money, or does Pueblo dominate this game? Does Pueblo beat them in the same or worse fashion than Western did?
I'll say absolutely. Mine's absolutely will lose this game because we've got Pueblo all the way. We're going to come out there. We're going to show up because the pack is attacking. We don't lose the mind, especially this late in the year. We take over and we go forward. I've got Pueblo winning by a large margin because they're going to go in there and they're going to prove that this rivalry is no longer a rivalry. The last couple of years was just kind of, your little hot streak. But Pueblo is going to continue their reign. They're going to go ahead and get themselves another ring here shortly. The only thing, Colorado Mines can do is just show up because, Pueblo's already, they've been ready. They've been ready since Monday, really since Sunday to take on this team. This is for a lot of people don't realize, that this isn't a ranked game. Dude, this is the biggest games in my career that I ever had. We always look forward to Mines. And I know there's a few guys in there like Andrew Cookie that, he wants to win this game really bad. I don't think Andrew's actually been a part of a win against Mines in his career. He might have had one.
You didn't. I hate to say this. I hate to tell you this because I think you missed this while you're working, bro. Cookie blew out his knee.
I know. But he can still be a part of the team. I know he got hurt, and
then he was a part of it last year.
Now you put up some stats. Like I can't. It's like one of my one of my rings that I've got. I don't even have it. I only tell people I've got 3. One of my rings I have, I wasn't a part of that team. I had an injury in the first week, and so I don't consider that one a ring. But like Cookie did the work this year, and he's going to be a presence on that sideline that these guys needs, but not too much of a presence because Pueblo is just, they've got that dog in them. They've got that Thunderwolf in them, not that dog. And they're going to go in there. I don't think we're going to see Blaster much, running around the field. It's going to be a lot of, I don't know Rock, I think it's his name now, the dog for Pueblo. So, give me Pueblo by 41.
Oh, no, that's Ella or Ellen. Ellie?
Ellie for Mines. Ellie for Mines and Rock for Pueblo. That's
okay.
It used to be Tundra, rest in peace, my girl. I missed that one, but now they got Rock, but I got Pueblo by 41.
By 40. All right. And you just say these wild things, bro.
I
You
don't
just get
root for
rolling
this.
and then you just start
This
just
is my week right here. I'm a big Pack fan. I know I'm gonna get tweeted at. I'm done getting tweeted at by the Pack guys. I'll give you all this. I'm
Draper
on your
want hey,
side.
Draper wants back in, guys. Draper didn't need anything at
Didn't need
all.
anything. God, I'm gonna have to Will Smith him. Keep my name out of your mouth. Like, golly. But yeah, give me the Pack. We're back, and we're gonna go get ourselves another ring.
All right. Let me speak some reason into this. All right, Pueblo's gonna win. I got Pueblo winning too, but not by 41. Like Capra's too good. I saw Capra. I mean, he lost to Western, but I saw Capra not throw any interceptions, be under pressure, and handle it well. And now he's had that experience. I don't know that Pueblo's going to pressure him the same way that Western did. And I think we could be in line for Capra really, you know, showing and proving, hey, I'm really going to be somebody to that president title. Drew's moving on after this season. That president title might be Capra's moving forward, and I think this is the game where he can really show it. So it's a home game. It is a rivalry game. I expect the Digger faithful to come in droves for this game. This is the last home game of the season. I want to say they finish up at Fort Lewis, so it's gonna be senior day. It's gonna be huge, big vibes. But I do think the Pack is probably. I think the Pack is going to win it in Golden and spoil the senior day of some of my favorite players. You know, I'm sad to be seeing Jackson Zimmerman going to be playing in his last game. You know, it's gonna hurt to watch, but or his last game at Marv K. I'm saying. But it's going to be a fun one. He's going to get to match up with Reggie. You know, I trust that Coach Lewis is going to trust Jackson to really match up with him, you know, in certain situations. They're going to trust him like, hey, no safety help. You're all alone. That's going to be fun and exciting to watch. And I think it's going to be really competitive, but I think Pueblo gets it done. Pueblo's just, they proved a lot to me last week. I thought that they had been, you know, really, you know, well-oiled machine type ever since that Fort Hays game and escaping Central Washington, but they really proved something to me, showing just that kind of resolve last week. So I don't think, even if they get punched in the mouth again this week, I think they're really going to be riding on a high. Even if they were down 10 at half again, I think they'd be feeling like, hey, that's nothing. We can come back. So give me the Pack, but I do think it's close. Give me the Pack by one score, by 7 points, but less, 7 to 10 points. But not 14. No more than not a 2-score game.
41.
Oh my gosh. I got Highlands. I'm gonna just you know, you're the guy that still rides the Fort Lewis train and has the hope. You know, I have hope for them against Adams State, but a team like the Cowboys, no way. And Jeffrey Jones gets back over the 100-yard mark this week too. Mark that. Even against a guy like Jacob Pitty.
Yeah. You know, this is truthfully to me, I think this is going to be the second best game of the week because Pueblo is going to blow out Mines. But I really think this game is going to be a lot closer, especially if Fort Lewis's offense shows up kind of how they've been the past couple of weeks. This is going to be a high scoring game. Defense is going to be able to, you know, play a few times, but I do have Highlands winning this game. They've just got so much to them that it's hard to stop. And when you flip it to the other side, Fort Lewis doesn't have as much that can keep them going in the game. So Highlands 7, 10, I'll say 7.5. Let's make it fun. 7.5, throw 100 on it, and let's go out with it.
Okay. Let's see. The Hard Rockers heading out to Grand Junction. Were you coaching on that? Were you on that staff where the Hard Rockers? Like, I've seen the Hard Rockers win in Grand Junction before. It's doable. Were you on that staff? Was that 20? That was 22, right?
I don't actually remember. Probably. I mean, we lost to a lot of teams. We started losing the teams that I never lost to. So probably we lost to Mines, South Dakota Mines. I don't think that's going to happen this week. Mesa's on a little rumble now. They've figured out their offense. Defense is gonna wake back up, but they're going against South Dakota Mines, so they're gonna have their opportunity to get some turnovers, get some plays made, get off the field and let that run.
South Dakota Mines is gonna throw it. Gibby, you want some more picks? This is the week.
Yep. I mean, this is the week for Gibby to bounce back. He had a rough week last week. He even texted me and said that he had a rough week, and I was like, hey, you suck. Or you could just go up this next week and play better. That's the good thing about football. You have another week in front of you. So this is your chance to go out there and get some turnovers, get some picks made, get some fumbles forced, or even some big hits created. But that offense that Mesa has, there's no stopping them right now while they're in a tumbling fashion, and so they're not going to get in the way of it. So they're tumbling, rumbling. That's what I'm going to say. Rumbling Mavs. Belgrave gets at least 3, I think, and Aiden Taylor adds 1 more rushing this week. Mesa by 14.
Mesa by 14. I'm going to agree. I think 14's about right, about accurate call. I don't think Mesa, last week, I mean, well, what do I know? Last week they scored over 40 points. Who's to say they can't again? I don't know. I think South Dakota Mines, they kind of took it on the chin a little bit against Shadron. Mesa was very competitive with Shadron. I don't know what it is, my thing with Mesa, but I just don't know, I don't know. One week Cole's the starter, the next week he's not. One week I seen Cole be fantastic versus Mines. Couple weeks later versus Highlands, maybe 30 yards through the air. Like, what Mesa team are we gonna get? I feel like, I don't know. I think you have a lot more confidence in Mesa's week to week, what you're gonna see from them. I don't necessarily. I'm still gonna pick them to win this game, but whereas if Mesa was where I think they should be as a program, I would pick them to win this game by 28 points because South Dakota Mines is down right now. But I do think Mesa can be susceptible to being in a game with a team that they should be better than. So I think South Dakota Mines, after taking it on the chin, they'll come out and punch a little bit, but give me Mesa by about 14 or so. Not less than 21. Let me be specific for JD. At least 14 points, but less than 21. So maybe 17, maybe 15. I don't know. Somewhere in there. But last game of the week, the green on green, the different shades of green. Give me the Yellow Jackets here. TJ Tuck-War, is he going to have 300 yards receiving this game?
Yeah, he's going to have at least 3 receiving, 1 passing, 1 rushing somehow. I don't know. He's going to be Booby Miles back there. But I'm in a similar way. I think Black Hills is the week that they get their way up to 2-8. They're going to be the best 2-8 team in the nation. And if they do lose, then you really are the worst 1-9 team in the nation. And Adams is the better
best 1-9 team to the worst 1-9 team.
Yeah, they're going from the best 1-8 to the worst 1-9 because Adams has now beat you, and they're going to be 1-9. But I think Black Hills puts it on. They win in an old Black Hills fashion. I think there's going to be a little running in it too because Adams kind of struggles with a little bit of runs here and there. But I've got Black Hills 17, 24 points around there.
Can Black Hills where's the swarm at? Can they force some turnovers in this game? You remember back in the day when they could punch up and beat one of us every now and then? It's because they just forced turnovers. The 2 times I lost to them, I want to say in those 2 games they probably forced 7 turnovers.
Yeah,
where's that at?
Yeah, when you say one of us, you mean you. I've never lost to Black Hills, but they definitely, I know what you're talking about. They swarm like a bunch of bumblebees, man. But it's cold. Now the bumblebees are all singled out.
There were a couple times you should have lost. You should have lost that one time on your home field where 5 caught that touchdown that wasn't a touchdown, very clearly wasn't a touchdown. You guys won that game by a point or 2?
Against Black Hills?
Or was that a blowout win on them?
Because there was blowout.
One time they played you guys down there, and I was like, huh, they should have won the game. And it was not like New Pueblo, not Villa or Pueblo, your Pueblo.
I don't know. Really the only game I
You're
remember
not
was Black Hills.
remembering, bro. The CTE's getting you,
Yeah,
dog.
CT's not good. I've only played one game and a half against Black Hills career. I've either been hurt or been ejected. I will say I had a lot of picks against them, so they love
Shut
throwing
up.
me the
All right, bro. All right, man.
But hey,
Jesus.
Black Hills definitely wins this week. But I've got Gavin. I've got him beating his season record this year. I think he's going to get over 158 yards passing. He's going to have 160.
160.
Yep.
I think if I was gonna make a big prediction for this game, Gavin has over a 50-yard run for a
Yeah.
touchdown.
Yeah. I agree with you. Gavin's going to take off for a long one. I'll agree with that one.
But want to thank some very talented people on the far left, Mr. Noah Miller, KOTA Sports. Man, he looked like NFL films. Those Black Hills highlights, that touchdown pass, he tracked the ball right into it. The TJ one, great work by him. Always amazing work from Tim Flynn and everybody over at Mines and Mr. Cody Bush and everybody at the RMAC network. Where we've been allowed to get some broadcast highlights as of lately, and we're very thankful for those. But man, another week, a big week. Everybody, I'm sure, like you said, you saw it on Twitter. I was there live in person in Gunnison last week. Man, they couldn't wait to get that dub and run by me. And I got the camera in hand. Oh man, the amount of pictures I got of players jeering at me. But hey, this is why we play the games. And to the victor goes the spoils, no bitterness on my end. This is why we play the games. Anytime you win, you can shut me up. So kudos to Pueblo. And I love when we can be interactive and have fun like this. So Shadron, you're up next this week. I picked Western. Let's see. What do you guys got? Can you guys prove me wrong? I do plan on being out there I am going to Cornhusker land. Mr. Dykstra, I'm gonna make the trip up because it's a ranked matchup. I feel obligated to do so. So to the Shadron faithful out there, if you're watching, this is gonna be my first time up there. I'd love to meet some of you guys and chat some football if you're gonna be there a little early. But Draper, how excited are you for we're getting this close to the playoffs? How excited are you, man?
I'm excited and sad, man. It felt like we were like week 0 was yesterday, and now we're just kind of blowing through it, and I'm kind of mad. I'm just gonna go off a couple of the chats real quick, catch us up. So AC is going out there to what is it, Nebraska? Everybody saw that. The Colorado swag, that is for my Denver bet that I lost with AC. I don't have any Broncos stuff. I won't ever have Broncos, but I do like Gabriel Landeskog, so I'll always keep that jersey.
I'll never own any Cowboys stuff. So
yeah,
fair.
Yep. John Dykstra, yes, best 1-9 team in the country. And AC, to answer your question, man, I am sad, but I'm always happy to get on here, talk, listen, kind of what you say, see what the chat has to say. It's big games coming up. This is what we call the gold box. Everything matters. I talked about this last year. If you're not familiar with it in the chat, every game matters from here on out. You're either playing for seeding, or you're playing for a ring, or you're playing to get into the playoffs, or even if you're winless, you're playing to get a win. You're playing to get over 500. You're playing to get 500. So these final weeks truly do matter. And if people tell you they don't, then they don't know ball. But I'm excited, man. I'm very happy.
Before we leave, we gotta address this, especially because this is my guy. This is my guy. I love you, Mr. Rakowski, but TJ's not. He said top 5 at best. What? He's 1 or 2. He's 1 or 2.
Yeah. And he's not 2. I mean, you put TJ on anybody's team, and he's gonna have the same stats. You could put him on freaking Adams, and Gavin's gonna throw it to him 100 times and have 7 picks, but TJ's gonna have 13 more touchdowns.
3 tubs against Grand Valley State.
Yeah. Like I don't.
Okay, Dan. You're gonna point out that maybe he didn't have a touchdown versus Pueblo. I'm sure they shaded their whole game plan that week was, hey, stop him.
Yep.
And they didn't. It's not like they had much else. It's not like there were much else they had to worry about. Like, no, I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that, Mr. Rakowski. I love you, but no. But hey, this is why we love doing this. This is why we love, having this show on the podcast. We love the chat. We love when you guys interact and whatnot. We love these talks and arguments. Everybody has an opinion, and that's what makes this great. The fact that we all care. So, another week. Thank you guys for having us, and we'll be back next week to see if the Fighting Woodheads can get the job done or not. But that's all for us tonight. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you this weekend.